We're in the attic. It's very warm now. We're not going to take too long up here. I want to start by walking boards. When you build your house, I don't know what's wrong with this flashlight. It's a special one that's over-engineered. Comes on when it wants to. But rip some 4x8 boards, 18 inches wide, and give yourself a walking space to wherever you want to go. Any kind of destination. Back here, I put boards down before we sprayed in insulation, and I put black marks to the left of wherever I have a board, and I put a walkway down to each destination, each ceiling light that's in there, each ceiling light fan, and that way I know where it is. Now another way to know where it is, and what I did at my barn that I built, was when I did my wiring, I brought it straight up. And instead of running the wiring down along this surface that you see here where you step on it and stuff, I brought my wiring up into my rafters where you could see it is. So I came straight up out of my breaker box, ran straight through my rafters where I can see my wiring, and then I took them right over to where the destination was, and I dropped them straight down to the destination, whether it's a ceiling light, a ceiling fan, or whatever. And that works very nice. I don't know why the professionals can't figure that out. You can see a ruler there where they sprayed in 15 inches on the attic here. But wiring should be done different, and they should have a little bit smarter people doing it in the house involvement. Here's where that leak was that came from the skylight. It came right on the outside of that insulation down there and into the bathroom ceiling. That should be dried enough where I can kind of put that insulation back in there. But I have walkways going to everything that's needed. That junction box should be up higher, about 3 feet. All the wires should be up higher where they're visible where they are. I don't know why. I don't know why. Electricians aren't any smarter than that. But this house in Northwest Ohio should have an R value of 49. That means you need about 15 inches of blown in insulation. We only had about 10 in here over the house and about 6 over the garage. So we've blown in up to 15 inches over the house and about 10 inches total over the garage now. A company called Residential Insulation did it. They had some sort of liquid they put into it as they sprayed so that the compaction doesn't occur quite as like without that moisture in there. So they said it was a glue type moisture material, but it's supposed to keep your insulation fluffy. But Residential Insulation was the name of the company. Did excellent work. They used these rulers, placed them numerous spots where you could see the depth of things. Well, that shows only 7 inches there. Well, I wonder if that's where they added 7 inches. Well,
yeah, because it goes deeper than that.
Okay.
Remember, these were big pits. There was a big drop off here.
One of them may be inches now. That shows about 9 over there. Whatever. But you should have
big drop off.
You should have R49. Yeah, you can see that I don't keep anything up in the attic. Some spare boards and things. But again, the biggest thing is when you wire your house, get your electric up into your rafters so you can see where it is, so you don't have to walk on it and damage your wiring. It may cost a few more feet of wire. It may make the electrician mad that he's doing things differently than he wants to do them or has always done them. But it's your house, and I'm sure you find the right guy, more than happy to oblige you so you can see your wiring and it's free from being stepped on. So that's, the other suggestion is we've only got one light up here in the attic. See how dark it is way back there? Put 2 lights in. It's only going to be another 50, 100 feet of cord, but if you ever need to work back there, which I did putting a ceiling fan in, you are going to want that extra light down there. So when you build a house, is not the time to be cheap. Put that second light down there. You only turn it on, you're lucky if you turn it on once a year, but it's there if you need it, and it doesn't cost any electricity if you never turn it on. But put 2 lights in your attic, 1 at each end of the house, and it will solve a lot of problems trying to see where you're going. Down into the crawl space, we built a nice looking door here. I'd say maybe a third of the way to the old one. 3/4 inch plywood. and makes it very easy to take in and out. It slides underneath the steps. This handle is very nice. You don't put your hands on the wall anymore like some of our old furnace guys did when they were all dirty. And put some felt along here to seal it off. Keeps the small spiders out of it. Right here is what these rest on. They're boards that's anchored up underneath here. It rests on here. It slides underneath here. Rest on these pads. Very nice. Oh, this is cool down here. From the attic to down here. World of difference. All right, we got the light on. That's the first thing I want to talk about. Just like the attic, there's no lights down at that end, and there's no lights on the foundation underneath the sunroom. Just a few more feet, and it would have been much more convenient. We worked down here quite a bit preparing this to get our Dr. Basement flooring in, and lights at each end would have been great. So spend a few more bucks, put some lights at the extremities of these units, the crawl space, the attic, and you'll never regret having extra lights. Let's see what temperature we're at right now down here. Well, it looks like it's about 67, something like that. Very nice. The hygrometer has got the humidity reasonable. We close the vents up that used to be in here. That allows that hot, humid air in the summertime to come into here. So generally, it's much drier than it used to be, which makes for a long life of your wood down here. Insulated all the walls. Sprayed foam in up between the joists to exterior walls. We used to have silver tape on these insulation panels, and it was peeling off. So I asked the Dr. Basement people to come back, Basement Doctor people to come back and take the silver tape off and put the white tape on, because it seems like it held much better. And they stood behind their product, came out, and I imagine he was here for 3 or 4 hours getting that silver tape off and putting the white tape on, and looks real nice, and the white tape seems to be secure everywhere. It's not peeling back anywhere. There's the Dr. Basement. We drew him up. I had a little fun with him. Gave him a cigarette, an earring, piece earring, and some red bloodshot eyes, but that doesn't reflect on his work. His work was excellent, and they did a good job. On the floor, we have plastic matting they put down first, all over the flooring on the stones. Then they put this 20 mil tough material down and sealed it with tape all over, and it is an excellent job they did. You can walk on it, do anything you want.
You can't walk because it's only like 4 foot tall.
Yeah, well, I should say if you were a little person, you could walk on it. But it's pretty rugged stuff. It won't tear anything up. You can see 2 of our geothermal lines coming in from the field, 437 feet of piping in our field, and it all comes up here and then goes into our echo unit in the garage there underneath our sink. We had our old fiberboard ductwork taken out because we were kind of afraid that was the smell that was coming, we were smelling, and we put all steel ductwork in and new ductwork to vents, and they actually put 2 more vents into the house. Now we're going to crawl over to this area here. When we put this flooring in, they said you're going to have a sump pump in here, because if you ever have a plumbing leak, you're going to have a swimming pool down here. Nowhere is this to go, so you're going to have a sump pump. Well, my wife and I have enough energy that we, before they put this down, dug a drain, and it's right there. The rocks are on the lid. Just, I don't know why, but always scares me with field tile that there'll be a snake or something crawl up through here and get in here. So I just put them rocks on there as a weight. And hardest ground I ever worked with. We had to chisel it with screwdrivers and hammers to get through it, and underneath the foundation base over there, and then dig on out to a field tile and drain in there. You'll see the condensation line from the furnace going down there, the white one. The red one is, if we ever want to drain everything in the house, our plumbing, we got a shutoff valve. All we do is open that shutoff valve over there, and all the plumbing in the house will go down and out this drain. I don't see a real need for it, but I thought, well, we're working, let's do it in, let's just put this in too. So you'll see that everything is nice and clean down here. If you ever had to come down here in a violent storm, tornado warnings, you could just about bring a book down here, make yourself comfortable till the all clear is gone. We don't want storage down here either. Again, when we moved in, there was, oh, you wouldn't believe the mason jars and all the collection down here on the stones.
On the cardboard.
Yeah, on the cardboard I was telling you about. But we are not going to leave a mess for our kids to deal with. So if we don't use it, get rid of it, and don't store stuff that you don't use. Just get rid of it. But a wonderful job they did. New Knoxville Supply put in the geothermal unit, all the new ductwork, and I don't care where you go, any square inch you pick, it's excellent work that they did. So crawl space is great. This is how you want to finish your house. I look for 100 years from now the wood in this crawl space to be good, solid, and protected from the moisture, from the insulation, and coming up from the bottom underneath the gravel and the ground. And it's the way to finish a house and make it into a premium house, which this is. And they did a wonderful job. Before they came, we took the stone and kind of graded it so if it did leak, that we'd have little trowels that went to our drain, just enough that the puddle, it wouldn't puddle in one huge spot. And it didn't take much to do, a day and afternoon down here. And working in your crawl space, pleasant. We just came from the attic where I bet you it was 97 degrees, and now we came down here where it's 67. So it's a real pleasant environment, and it almost makes you want to come down here on a hot summer day and just say, hey, this is where I'm going to stay for the day. But they did a nice job, and this is a premium way to finish your basement. Again,
I think I was aiming the light right at the camera.
Again, put lights at your extremities where you can see things. We need one more in this back room here underneath the crawl space or the sunroom out there. They did a nice job in there, but when we were working and cleaning up, we had to have electric cords and lights all over the place down here. All unnecessary. If just for a few bucks more, we would have put lights in the extremities of these attics and the attic and the crawl space here. So, don't know much more except for I think this was worth it. It's got its value. I hope it adds to the resale. I hope it doesn't. Some people don't like new ideas. Those people, what can you say? They just have to live with themselves. But I think this the Basement Doctor Company did a wonderful job down here, and it's a great way to finish your house and protect the wood that's in your crawl space from excessive moisture.
Are you going to tell them about the PEX and the lines and all that, or not?
Oh, nothing. It's just all of our plumbing comes to the house, comes down through here and then up to the fixtures, and so we put new PEX lines in with the crimps and double crimp most things, and it came out real good. Put insulation over all the hot water lines, and but it was pleasant working down here, and
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
That was great.
Well, we do things that we don't like doing sometimes, but we go ahead and do them. Show you how easy this door is to put back. You just put it up against the back wall there, lay it down, and shove it under the steps, and it sits there nicely.